Hello, people of the internet. This is Kaiju Noir here, bringing you the first of what will hopefully be several new current movie reviews. And today I am here with Bijan.
Yes.
And Freshte.
Hello.
And we just got out of seeing Marvel's The Avengers, a movie directed by Joss Whedon, starring Robert Downey Jr., Chris Hemsworth, Chris Evans, Mark Ruffalo, Jeremy Renner, and Scarlett Johansson. Oh yeah, and of course, Samuel L. Jackson. Now, guys, what do you think of the movie?
I think it was good. Yeah, I like.
It's officially one of my best movies now. It's really hilarious. Just love it.
Yeah, I remember how everybody was like laughing a lot during many parts of the movie. I was surprised how funny it was.
Yeah, I didn't suspect it to be funny. I thought it was just gonna be all about, die and, stuff like that.
So you thought it was just going to be like a mindless action movie?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I thought too. And then a lot of comedians, especially Iron Man.
Yeah. What were your expectations going into the movie? Well, besides thinking that it was just going to be a mindless action movie, did you have any worries? Did you have any things that you thought you were going to hate?
I thought one of them was gonna die, but no. I mean, they're good.
And one of the things I was worried about the most was probably Hawkeye and Black Widow, because they didn't have their own movies, so I was really wondering how they were going to fit with all the other characters, and was wondering whether they would be just as memorable as Hulk, Thor, Iron Man, Captain America. Turns out they were pretty awesome. What do you think of those two guys?
The Black Widow, she's really, even though she doesn't have any powers, she's still pretty awesome for a hero. And Hawkeye, yeah, he's really good too.
Yeah, they're pretty good. Good heroes.
Yeah. So this is the Avengers. This is the result of 4 years of Marvel putting out superhero movies, all being connected to each other, starting with 2008's Iron Man, then eventually Hulk, the Incredible Hulk, then what was it? Iron Man 2, then Thor, then Captain America. Have you guys seen any of these movies before going into the Avengers?
I kind of saw The Incredible Hulk, but yeah, and I think Thor in my English class. So yeah, it was all pretty cool.
Yes, I watched all of them.
Oh, and Iron Man.
I watched all of them except for Thor. I haven't gotten around to seeing that movie yet. Although I think it's kind of good because, I guess this movie was my introduction to both Thor and Loki. And yeah, Loki was a pretty awesome villain. What do you thought of him?
He had a lot of makeup. You can actually really tell he had a lot of makeup on.
Yeah, he looked very fabulous.
Yes, indeed. But it was good. I thought he was gullible. That's all I can say. He was gullible.
I say he's a douche for killing many people.
Yeah, he's like, "Fool, you are beneath me. I can do anything I want." Kind of like he has like a spoiled brat, big ego mentality sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And what you guys thought about the interactions between all the characters? Did you feel that any characters had more screen time than others, or do you feel like they were all perfectly balanced?
I think they were all perfectly balanced. I mean, it was funny the way they would react with each other. I knew they were gonna hate each other at first, but it all worked out.
I agree with Fresh Tea.
Yeah, I was really surprised. Another thing I was kind of surprised with was how every character all had pretty much the right amount of screen time. I mean, right when you were starting to think, "Oh, I wonder what's going on with Thor," and then they show what was going on with Thor. They kept switching back to characters so that you were constantly being entertained. You get a little bit of Iron Man, then you get to see what Hulk is doing, then you see what Captain America is doing. Yeah. So of course, many people have seen bits of the final battle in the trailers, but of course, it's nothing compared to seeing the actual movie. So what were you guys' thoughts on the climactic final battle?
Very dramatic. I loved it. I loved the battle. Very nice.
Yeah, very dramatic and a good ending to the end.
Yeah, I loved it too. Probably without spoiling it, I guess my favorite part would be when like the Hulk he enters the scene, and every time the Hulk was on screen, I kept going, "Oh yeah, that's so awesome! Oh my god!" Certain characters that you were the most excited about when you saw them?
Hulk. It was just Hulk.
Yeah. Now, another thing I was pleasantly surprised with was how one of my biggest fears about this movie was that it was going to become the Iron Man show, because Iron Man is obviously the most popular of the, what was it, 6 or 7 of them?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, he was there, even though he was big, loudmouth, making fun of everyone, wisecracker. But yeah, he didn't take over the whole movie, of course. He had the right amount of screen time. We can all agree that was one of the best things that we liked about the movie. Mm-hmm. Being able to juggle all these characters perfectly.
You get to learn a little more every day.
Yeah. They each had their own character moments. They each had their own time to shine.
Background stories.
Oh yeah, definitely the background stories. So, what would you say if there was anything you did not like about the movie? What would it be?
That's gonna have to give me a while to think about. You can ask Bijan. I have to think about this.
Bijan?
I think when the bad guys came in to the mothership for... Damn, what's that guy's name?
Loki?
No,
Oh, I got my
the black guy.
Oh, Samuel L. Jackson.
Yeah, when the bad guys with Hawkeye, and then they try and invade the ship, that wasn't so good.
Well, so good from a story perspective, or you just didn't like that whole scene at all?
I don't like the story perspective of that. I don't like the scene.
The perspective of the story.
So pretty much you did not like the beginning action scenes.
Yeah, just that part.
Yeah, you had any sort of problems with the first all-out action scene?
No, just...
Yeah, you just didn't. It just wasn't as good as the final battle.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess that could be because they were just giving you a small taste, and then follow it up with a huge, gigantic battle that blows it away.
Indeed.
Yeah. Fresh Day, you came up with anything?
Oh, well, I don't want to spoil it. It was just when they had to kill one of the good guys.
I see. Okay, so no spoilers there. So all in all, it seems like any complaints that we have about this movie are pretty minor. So would you guys recommend seeing this movie at the theater?
Yeah, I would.
Hell yeah.
So out of a scale from 1 to 5, 5 being the best, 1 being the lowest, what would you give Marvel's The Avengers?
I'll give it a 5.
Definitely a 5.
And I give it a 5 as well. A perfect, or pretty much almost a near perfect movie that's definitely worth watching over and over again. I feel like it's one of those movies that... Yeah, exactly. It never gets old. It'll be remembered for years to come. Right up there with Superman, Spider-Man, and The Dark Knight. Yeah, definitely worthy of a 5 out of 5. By the way, when it came to the trailers for this movie, were there any trailers that stuck out in particular? Movies that caught your attention the most that you wanted to go see? Did any of you guys happen to catch the Amazing Spider-Man trailer?
Oh, that was a good one, yeah.
Yeah?
I think that's worth seeing.
What did you guys thought about that trailer?
I think it was pretty cool because it's gonna help you learn a little bit more about Spider-Man.
Mm-hmm. It seemed like, as opposed to the Sam Raimi trilogy, this new Spider-Man seems to focus more on Spider-Man's, like you said, Spider-Man's backstory, more specifically with what exactly happened to Spider-Man's parents. Because apparently his parents tie in to Spider-Man's origin story, which I think was a part of the comics later on, in the 90s, around that time. Anything you particularly enjoyed about the Amazing Spider-Man trailer?
I agree with you.
Yeah. I noticed that, one thing I noticed that, before, in the previous trailers, they showed the Lizard.
Oh, yeah.
And one of my, biggest hopes was that the Lizard would at least wear a lab coat like he did in the comic books. I did notice for, 1 second you saw him lying on the ground with, a torn lab coat, so I thought that was pretty awesome. I just hope that that lab coat actually lasts on him before it gets completely ripped off. All right, everybody. That was our thoughts on Marvel's The Avengers. We definitely recommend it. Thank you for listening. And this is very experimental, so hopefully as the summer goes on and we watch more movies, hopefully we'll get this format down by the end. Who knows? Maybe by winter we'll probably have like an actual format. All right, everybody. Until next time, true believers, Excelsior!